One Piece, obtain the Blade of Fire at the beginning. Chapter 11. Have a general on standby, just to keep an eye on a rookie pirate. If this thing gets out. Most of them caused many surprises. At the same time, it will be deeply reflected. What exactly did Yi Chen do? How did the Navy pay so much attention to it? You must know that letting a general keep an eye on a pirate is only possible if the top pirates in the New World, such as Whitebeard, have any amazing moves, and the general can be dispatched. Other than that, unless someone beats up the Draconians, or kills the Draconians. In this way, the general will be dispatched. There is no other way. And Yi Chen has not been out to sea for a long time, but the Navy has paid so much attention to it, and even the Admiral has to be dispatched. This kind of weird thing will be thought about by anyone who is not stupid. What did Yi Chen do? How did the Navy attach so much importance to it? Merely. This hasn't really started yet. Right now. The Navy had no news from Yi Chen, so it could only let Akainu wait. Waiting for news from Yi Chen from the intelligence department. Meantime, because of the headlines, Yi Chen's reputation was shocked. Secretly, countless forces were surging undercurrents, all looking for Yi Chen's traces. Some are snooping on the secret of Yi Chen's obtaining such a high bounty. Some just want Yi Chen's head. Some wanted Yi Chen to join their forces. In a word, no matter what the purpose, Yi Chen became the sweetheart of countless forces overnight. Magic Valley Town. The Great Voyage is a special island. It was once part of Gaia Island. After flying to the Sky Island from Gaia Island only hundreds of years ago, this place has evolved over a long period of time and eventually evolved into the town of Magic Valley. This is a special place, not an ordinary town, but a place where pirates gather, and pirates can be found everywhere. If you throw a rock down the stairs, 95% of the people who hit it are pirates. Pirates gather here to spend a lot of money and enjoy life. At this time, in a bar, it was extremely crowded and packed with pirates. The many pirates ate and drank and discussed all sorts of things. I heard that Yi Chen has left the East China Sea and has come to the Great Voyage. Yi Chen. That Yi Chen. Fool, you don't know this. It was rumored a few days ago that it was the guy who was offered a reward of 500 million Bailey before he entered the Great Voyage. Oh, that guy. I've heard he's not very old, only 18 or 19. It doesn't matter what age he is, I've seen the photos of that guy in some news, and the best record is to get rid of a person called the Evil Dragon Pirates, which has the highest bounty of more than 20 million talents. It's only more than 20 million, which is too little, right? Don't say that more than 20 million is the highest in the East China Sea. After all, it is the weakest sea, and the pirates in that place are very weak. Tisk. How strong can a person from this kind of place be? I hope this Yi Chen doesn't touch me, otherwise I will personally take off his head. Hee, there are more people who want to kill him. You can get your turn there. I heard that many people are interested in his head. And Bellamy put down his words. As long as whoever gives him Yi Chen's news, he will share half of that person if he kills Yi Chen and gets the bounty. Is that the hyena under Doflamingo's name? That's him. That's fun. I hope Yi Chen can appear in Magic Valley Town. Everyone was talking and discussing. The discussion was loud, and the noise filled almost the entire bar. Boom. Suddenly, the door opened, and a man hurried in. I saw him panting and said, Yi Chen appeared. As soon as this remark came out, the whole bar fell silent. Many people's faces changed, and they stood up suddenly, and asked sharply, that Yi Chen? It's Yi Chen who has a bounty of 500 million. Where is he now? Right at the docks. Hear the voice. The bar, which had been crowded with people, suddenly dispersed, and everyone took their weapons and used their strength to eat milk and went towards the door. Go in the direction of the pier. Look at its stance. It's like snatching a treasure, and they can't wait, for fear that others will be one step ahead of them. Magic Valley Town. Dock. Yi Chen landed from Galio's body, and Galio himself quickly shrunk, quickly becoming similar to Yi Chen's body. After shrinking, Galio looks a little honest. It's not as scary and shocking as it used to be. The two of them came down to replenish some supplies. In general, Yi Chen intends to replenish supplies. Galio doesn't need to eat or drink, he doesn't need anything at all. But Yi Chen is still a human after all, and he still needs to eat and drink, and the multi-day flight has made him a little tired of eating sea kings, and he plans to eat a good meal. Master, these guys have murderous intentions against us. Shall we get rid of them? Gario said in a deep voice. Go ahead and fix it. Yi Chen stretched his waist and said lightly, I don't plan to make a move on these rookies. Although there are a lot of pirates gathered here, they are basically ordinary pirates, and there are no powerful pirates. Bounties of over 100 million are extremely rare. Hearing Yi Chen's order, Galio's eyes were cold, and he walked out directly. Almost at the same time, a pirate couldn't help but make a move, rushed out directly, waved the weapon in his hand, and slashed in the direction of Yi Chen. Yi Chen, your uncle in my name, the person who killed you is. Boom. Before he finished speaking, Galio punched him in the face with a righteous punch, and the terrifying force directly shattered his head. Airplanes. Pause. The person who was originally going to make a move subconsciously stopped. His eyes widened, and he looked at Galio in disbelief. A punch that shatters a person's head. What a powerful force to do. And when they just saw Galio doing this. To put it mildly, it seems to be just a casual hit. On the pier, a dozen pirates stood stiff, their eyes wide and their faces pale. There is even some despair. Who said pirates from the East China Sea can't do it? Who said that the East China Sea is the weakest sea? Is this a pirate from the weakest sea? Blowing a person's head with a punch is as easy as popping a watermelon with a punch. Slur over. It looks like there's no effort. The head is so brittle. Galio pursed his lips, his words a little disappointed. Listen to this as human talk. The crowd fell into a stupor. Your head is still brittle. Ordinary swords may not be able to split heads, and hard skulls are even harder than stone. What kind of monster is this? He actually punched a person in the head. And I feel that the head is not useful, it is too brittle. No wonder he was offered a bounty of 300 million Bailey by the Navy. No wonder the bounty is so high that it has not yet come out of the East China Sea, and it is so valued by the Navy. It turned out that these people were just too strong. Pause. The crowd was in despair. It turns out that the Navy is not mistaken. Didn't lie to them either. The strength of these two men is fully worthy of his bounty. Run, run. In an instant, a dozen or so pirates had a thought in their minds almost at the same time. Get out of this place of the hell quickly. It doesn't matter what the bounty is. Registration matters. Touch. Everyone was almost synchronized, and they all spread their feet and ran away, their faces flushed, and they almost ran away with the strength of milk. It's as if there's a grim reaper chasing after him. Since they were some distance away from Galio, when they ran, Galio had just reacted. These guys are already running to the back of the street. Meanwhile, at the junction of the streets, a very strange thing happened. Someone desperately left the docks. Someone rushed desperately to the dock. It's like there's a treasure on the other side of the docks. Hey, why did these guys run away? I remember there was a guy who had a big bounty, 20 million Bailey. Whatever, they can run. If I miss this opportunity and don't get Yi Chen's head, I will regret it for the rest of my life. It's 500 million Bailey's head, how many towns do you have to grab to get it? That's right. The escape of those men attracted the attention of some pirates. Merely thinking of the value of Yi Chen's head, greed devoured their reason, making them go towards the dock like a beast that had lost their minds. For them, the marina is the treasure. It's what Roger called the great treasure. As long as Yi Chen's head is removed, they will be able to develop. Besides, Yi Chen's subordinates offered a bounty of 300 million Bailey, which was also worth a lot. Ha ha ha, I saw Yi Chen. I want his head. 500 million Baileys, I'm coming. Good thing I ran fast. No one can make a move. If you just make a move, you will be the enemy of our Blood Wolf pirates. You, Blood Wolf pirates, you're a fart. Seeing the human head close at a moment's notice, many pirates almost lost their minds. This time, the number of pirates rushing over was staggering. The first pirates rushed over by more than 30. There is also a steady stream of pirates in the back. It's just a moment. The number of people has reached more than 50. The number is staggering, stirring. Seeing the crowd rushing over, Galio's eyes moved, and a touch of joy appeared in his eyes. Boy, just now those people ran away. He also regretted that he had been careless. Didn't look at those people and gave them a chance to run away. Right now, more people came. 2. Send them to death. Yi Chen, who was on the side, looked at this scene and touched his chin. I'm too popular, there are so many pirates who want to kill me. Seeing so many pirates, he didn't expect it either. Although he knew to come to Magic Valley Town, there must have been quite a few pirates who had done something to him. But I didn't expect that there would be so many. Within a few minutes, hundreds of people had gathered on the dock. The number of people is also increasing. The popularity was far beyond Yi Chen's expectations. Originally, he thought that it would be good for 20 or so people to kill him. I didn't expect it to be super doubled directly. Yi Chen took a deep breath. I thought there were smart people, but it seems that I overestimated them. He thought that the Navy gave such a high bounty, and there should be smart people who could see the importance of the Navy. Who knows that there don't seem to be many smart people. In fact, it is normal to have so many people. In addition to the bounty reaching 500 million, countless people are hungry for profit. At the same time, it is also because Yi Chen did not have a relatively strong record before. Destroying the evil dragon pirates may be amazing in the East China Sea. But, in the Great Passage, it's nothing. What's more, the East China Sea is originally the weakest sea, a sea area that has been ridiculed by countless people. When these people saw Yi Chen's high bounty, also has age and combat record, and immediately felt that Yi Chen's strength might not be so strong. It's just that by doing something, it touches the interests of the Navy or the interests of the world government. Will make the Navy give such a high bounty. Seeing Yi Chen getting closer and closer, the people in front of them looked excited, more and more excited, and they had almost seen 500 million Bailey waving at them. That's heaven. However, soon, disillusionment. They fell from heaven to hell. Seeing so many people, Galio just let go of his hands and feet and got up. Righteous punch. Galio didn't use any special abilities either. Only used the simplest and most primitive way of attacking. Boom. The indestructible fist kept swinging. Every shot. It's all accompanied by the explosion of one head after another. Galio's whole body is created with special magic stones, and his body is indestructible, and it is the hardest stone, and diamonds may not be as hard as him. At the same time, because of the perennial bathing magic, Galio himself has some magic, strength magic, flight magic, or shrinkage magic. These are all brought by Galio. With these magical blessings, Galio is like a magical war machine, extremely terrifying. In particular, the power magic persists down, and with Galio's indestructible fist, the power that bursts out is enough to destroy a mountain. The human skull is hard though. But compared to Galio's fist, it is still far inferior. How can this guy be so powerful? What kind of body is this? The knife slashed on his body and actually broke. Who the hell said these two guys are vulnerable? Ah! Galio let go of his hands and feet, like a wolf into a flock of sheep, and everywhere he went, there was a halo of human life one after another. The power of terror is coupled with an indestructible body. The group of pirates faced Galio, like immature babies, and could only watch Galio slaughter. Whether they use a gun, or a sword. In the face of Galio, there is no way to do anything. Galio crushed the group as if he had been invincible. Rumble. A deafening sound rang out all around, the ground shattered, smoke and dust rose everywhere, and many pirates fled in panic with frightened faces. If just like those people, they used the fastest speed in their lives, as if they were escaping from hell, and ran forward desperately. It's not paradise. It's hell. It's not the lamb they imagine they can slaughter, but a demon with teeth and claws, who can crush them at will. 10 minutes later, the wharf was full of blood and blood. The huge venue was packed with corpses. At a glance, it is densely packed. Almost all of them were corpses. It's like purgatory on earth, and it's terrifying to watch. Yi Chen stood at the farthest point of the dock, calmly watching everything. And in front of him, Galio was covered in blood, burly, with a simple face, and his indestructible body was rendered blood-colored by blood. It looks extremely scary, like coming out of a sea of blood. The pirates were scared to be killed. There was no need for Yi Chen to make a move, and Galio pushed sideways alone. At the same time, it was also extremely violent, and the terrifying power smashed on the head, exploding like a watermelon, and the terrifying scene was reflected in the eyes of everyone. Seeing this scene, they were all stupefied. They all left the place, not daring to approach. Because they know that if they continue to stay, they will be reduced to headless corpses like those on the ground. There shouldn't be anyone here, right? Yi Chen stretched and yawned. He was a little bored after watching such a bloody scene. There can be so many people coming at him. Yi Chen really didn't expect it. But none of that matters. Come on, come, since he wants to die, then he will fulfill them. Now that it looked like it was almost over, Yi Chen beckoned to Galio and said, "Let's go in and buy something." "Yes, master," Galio replied with a humble voice. Subsequently, the two of them walked towards the town. Probably because Galio looks a little scary. The owner of the store was scared half to death. Yi Chen wanted to give everything for nothing and didn't charge money. Roughly walked around. After replenishing the supplies, Yi Chen and Galio prepare to leave Magic Valley town. Boom. Right now, in the streets, a figure kept jumping around at an extremely terrifying speed. "Galio, get rid of that fly." "Okay." Galio turned, his figure flashing with brilliance, and then vanished in place. The next moment, boom, Galio fell from the sky, his huge body falling to the ground, and the ground shook as if there had been a great earthquake, and the whole town shook violently. Meanwhile, the smoke and dust dissipated, and Galio slowly stood up, following Yi Chen's footsteps. In the original pothole, a head seemed to roll in front of everyone. "See this head?" Everyone was taken aback. "Isn't this Bellamy? It's him, the sea thief with a bounty of more than 40 million. Such pirates are all seconded. Galio is too strong. It's not a level of existence at all. No wonder the Navy gave them a bounty of 300 million. You said that a crew member is so strong, so how strong is Yi Chen, who is the captain? It must be stronger than Galio. After all, he is the existence of a bounty of 500 million. That's right. Quote, with their strength, they should one day stir up trouble in the New World. You're not talking nonsense, that's a given. I think so. I always feel that it won't be long before the Crow Pirates will spread all over the world. It's impossible, isn't it? There are only two of them in the pirates. Everyone talked about it, and after seeing Bellamy's being seconds, there was not much fluctuation. Just a little surprised, although Bellamy has a lot of fame here. But compared to Galio, there is too much difference. According to approximate statistics, the corpses on the dock start at least 200. This is still a lot of corpse mutilation, and the real number is estimated to be more. As for the Black Crow Pirates, even if it is Yi Chen's pirates. During the battle, Yi Chen passed on the name. At the docks, Galio flew into the air, his body growing in size at breakneck speed. In an instant, it became dozens of times larger. Meanwhile, Yi Chen jumped onto Galio's back with something and said lightly, "Galio is flying into the air." Well, hear that? Galio nodded, and then a faint light bloomed all over his body, condensing into a magic circle in the air. And then, the figure was like a rainbow light, bursting into the air. Lightning fast, burst out of the sky in an instant. The tragic situation in Magic Valley Town, the news came out quickly. It spread all over the world. Maybe because of the headlines a few days ago, many people are paying attention to the traces of Yi Chen and others. Wait until the news of Magic Valley Town comes out. Everyone was a little surprised. They didn't expect that Yi Chen and the others would have such terrifying strength that they almost slaughtered Demon Valley Town. This was still the case when Yi Chen didn't make a move, and Galio almost slaughtered Magic Valley Town with one person intact. The Crow Pirates, it doesn't seem to be as simple as you think. The bounty offered to them by the Navy may not be based on what terrible things they have done, but probably because of their strength. It's a possibility. If a crew member is so strong, Yi Chen, who is the captain, is probably not an ordinary person. The sea is not calm anymore, there is such a pirate group again. Fortunately, they are few now. If there are more people, they should be able to compete in the New World. I haven't seen any news of Yi Chen's move yet. I really hope someone will let Yi Chen give it a try and test his strength. Is it really strong? There are many people who have this idea, but unfortunately their whereabouts are uncertain. Unlike other pirate groups, they do not sail on the sea, but walk in the sky, and it is difficult to find them. Wait, they'll come to the New World sooner or later. Many forces received the news and reacted differently. But most of them were surprised. For Galio's strength, it is still Yi Chen's own strength. They want to know, this man who has not been at sea for long. What a great strength it is. Can you even make the Navy offer a bounty of 500 million Bailey? Compared to other forces, the Navy is very troubled. They had just gotten news from Yi Chen. Just as I was about to send a Kainu out. Only to learn that he left Magic Valley Town that day. This made the warring states almost smash the table. Yi Chen's whereabouts were too weird. Let them be extremely passive in the Navy. The outside world is disturbed, and the undercurrent is surging. It seems calm, but it is choppy. At this time, Yi Chen was on his way to the island of the gods. With Galio's ability to fly, he didn't need to rely on any tools, and came to the Sky Island unimpeded. Passed through the gates of heaven. Go straight inside. Under a wave of inquiries. Got the place where Anilu lived. Island of the gods, Apayato. With the gradual deepening, Yi Chen and Galio both felt a gaze on them. Galio, do you feel where that site is? The host felt that it was not far from us. That's where we're going. Understood. Familiar with the original book, Yi Chen knew that that site was Anilu's ability. Mindset. The combination of the Thunder Fruit's unique radio waves allows Anilu to perceive the entire Sky Island and hear the voices of the Sky Island people. Because of this, if anyone dares to speak ill of Anilu, then he will be punished by God. At this time, Apayato, the island of the gods. In a palatial palace. Anilu was naked, took a bite of the apple in his hand, looked cold, and said to the people below, 4 priests. God Sama. The words fell. The 4 priests, who were originally on standby, knelt down one after another, waiting for Anilu's order. To them, Anilu was God. And they are the ones who serve the gods. The 4 of them had endless respect for Anilu in their eyes. 2 outsiders have broken into our territory, you go and kill them and bring their heads back. Yes, God. The 4 priests said respectfully with a calm face. Then they all got up and left the palace and headed outside. This kind of task, they performed many times. Basically, they all came home with big victories, so they didn't have any other ideas, and for them, dealing with outsiders was just an ordinary thing. Look at the island in front of you gradually become clearer. Yi Chen knew that the island of the gods was coming. Right now, 4 figures stopped in front of them. Stop, intruder. The 4 figures had their own faces, all fat and thin, and all had white wings on their backs. Anilu's men, the 4 priests. Galio doesn't need to stop, these guys are handed over to me, no need to waste time. Hear this. Galio, who had originally planned to deal with the 4 priests, suddenly stopped. Let go of your hands and feet and fly forward. Seeing that Galio did not stop, but increased his speed. The faces of the 4 priests were a little dark, and they felt insulted. HMPH, I didn't stop in the face of me, and I was arrogant. Got them out. The 4 priests let out a low snort, using their various abilities, and headed towards Galio. Stegosaurus. Meanwhile, a flash of sharpness appeared in Yi Chen's eyes, and the flowing blade in his hand was like a fire coming out of the sheath, and a cold light bloomed in the air. The sword came out like a dragon, and the majestic sword chi turned into a dragon shape. The face is hideous, the teeth and claws are open, the fur is clearly visible, lifelike, like a real dragon descending into the world. Roar. The Stegosaurus roared again and again, rushing away with a fierce sword aura. Stop. Unbeatable. Seeing the terrifying Stegosaurus, the 4 priests' faces changed greatly, and they quickly paused their bodies and hid to the side. It seems that he wants to avoid the Stegosaurus. However, the Stegosaurus bites, as if spiritual, adjusts its body, and devours the 4 of them in an instant. Rumble. The deafening sound rang out, and the sword chi sputtered in all directions, and the 4 divine officers were pierced by countless sword chi, and they were riddled with holes. Boom. The 4 priests were killed in an instant, the vitality in their bodies was wiped out, and they fell down with a bang, falling into the White Sea, and being swallowed by the White Sea. Meanwhile, Anilu, who was in the palace, turned dark, slashed abruptly, and whispered, "Unforgivable fellow." The 4 priests were killed instantly. There was not even room for struggle. Was killed by Yi Chen in an instant. Without the obstruction of the 4 priests, Galio was unimpeded, and like a rainbow light, he came to the island in a moment. Apayato, the island of the gods. Where Anilu lives. After Galio landed, Yi Chen jumped off Galio's body. The moment the footsteps fell. Ding, congratulations on the completion of the host check-in. Mission reward, perfect tricolor domineering. The cold voice fell. A flash of brilliance appeared in Yi Chen's eyes. In an instant, all the information about the three-color domineering flooded into his mind. Overlord color. Armed color. There is also the color of seeing and hearing. The three-color domineering is instantly controlled, and it has reached the level of perfection. Airplanes. Yi Chen's eyes froze. A wisp of breath bloomed from his body. In a moment, the breath rose suddenly, like a storm and waves, sweeping all around. Invisible fluctuations spread out, covering almost the entire empty island, enveloping all sides. In that moment, everyone on the Sky Island sensed an aura of supremacy. The people's eyes widened with fear. Then, thump. Most of the people on Sky Island fell one after another, their eyelids whitening and their mouths foaming. Only a small number of people remained, barely able to resist. But even so, they were also sweating profusely, and they looked like they couldn't hold on. Who the hell is Anilu? The few remaining people looked at Apeador, who was looming in the distance, and their expressions were shocked. This breath is really terrifying. It is like a god descending into the world. It became difficult to get them to stand normally. A moment later, the aura of terror dissipated, and the rest of the people were able to relax, and they all knelt on the ground, their backs covered with cold sweat, and their faces full of exhaustion. Meanwhile, inside the island of the gods, Zizi. The piercing sound sounded, as if thousands of birds were contending, resounding through the sky. With the sound sounding, a thunderbolt fell from the sky, like a divine punishment, and smashed towards the place where Yi Chen was. Seeing this scene, Yi Chen calmly waved his knife into the air. Click. The sword is full of energy, and the edge is exposed. The great thunderbolt was cut straight open, split in half and landed on both sides of the distance. Smack. At this time, Anilu clapped his hands and slowly walked out from a distance. His eyes were cold. He looked at Yi Chen and said, "Intruder, your strength is very good, this god has recognized you. It's just that if you kill my priest, even if this god recognizes you, you will have to pay the price. The majesty of God shall not be blasphemed." Hearing these words, Yi Chen immediately felt funny. This Anilu was a little too arrogant, and at the same time, a little too middle class. Just ruled an area of the empty island, and dared to call it a god. Although the thunder fruit is known as one of the strongest natural fruits, this does not mean that it can be invincible. Although Luffy defeated Anilu in the original book, a large part of it was due to the protagonist's aura. But even if you don't have the aura of the protagonist, Anilu is placed in the new world, and there are many people who can defeat him. A hint of curvature appeared at the corner of Yi Chen's mouth, and he said playfully, "Since I have blasphemed the majesty of God, how can you, as a god, deal with me? Of course I'm going to kill you." Anilu's face turned dark, blue light appeared from his steps, arcs flickered, and his figure disappeared in an instant. The next moment, Anilu appeared next to Yi Chen, covered in thunder, condescending, and said from above, "It's also your honor to die in your own hands." 50 million volts, discharge. The thunder in the sky bloomed from Anilu's hand. The arc flickered, and the blue-white light covered the surroundings almost instantly, as if falling into the sea of thunder, and at a glance, it was full of flashing thunder. Fire rejection. A flat voice sounded. The blue-white thunder light appeared with a different color. Almost instantly, the heterochromatic color swelled suddenly, surging suddenly, turning into a circle and engulfing the nearby thunder. "What a waste of the thunder fruit for you," Yi Chen said lightly. The flowing blade in his hand was instantly covered by the domineering aura of the armed color, turning into a black knife, pitch black and shiny, flashing with a strange light. Shout. Yi Chen held the flowing blade like fire, the flames rose, and slashed towards Anilu. "Ha ha ha, you can block my attacks, you do have some ability, but this god is invincible, immortal and indestructible, and any attack has no effect on me." Anilu laughed, facing Yi Chen's attack. He didn't care at all, and laughed arrogantly. With the elementalization unique to nature-based devil fruits, he can ignore any attacks. Except, of course, the sea floor stone and the armed color domineering. And seawater. Immortal and indestructible. Invincible. Sure enough, it was an arrogant frog at the bottom of the well. Anilu, who has never left the Sky Island, has no idea that the natural devil fruit still has restraint, and the elementalization is not invincible. Because he didn't know, when he saw Yi Chen slashing over, Anilu didn't dodge it at all, but stood there boldly, trying to catch Yi Chen's attack hard. May want to use this to tell Yi Chen, "Your attacks are useless to me. There is a difference between people and people. Stupid guy." Yi Chen whispered in his heart. The flowing blade showered with an armed color domineering slashed sideways like fire, and the pitch-black and shiny blade shone with an evil light. When the flowing blade was close in front of him, Anilu, who was originally confident, felt a sense of foreboding, a sense of death surging into his heart. Not good. Anilu's face changed drastically, and his entire body flashed with electric arcs, wanting to use this to get away from Yi Chen's attack. However, it's slow at this point. The pitch-black sword light bloomed, and in an instant, it bloomed with a sharp edge that was enough to pierce everything. Burst. The blade of fire pierced through Anilu's heart. Thump. Anilu's face was pale, half kneeling on the ground, and he asked weakly, "Why can you attack this god?" He couldn't believe it. He could be hurt by a mortal. Yi Chen put away the flowing blade and said playfully, "Because I am a god killer, others have no way to kill you, but I have a way." Hearing this, Anilu's eyes kicked off, and before he could speak, his gaze immediately collapsed, and the whole person fell to the ground. Yi Chen didn't tell him the truth until he died. It also made Anilu think that he might have really met the Godslayer. Secondary 2 kids. Yi Chen shook his head and put away the flowing blade. With his current strength, it was easy to kill Anilu. With the perfect armament and domineering, Anilu's most tricky ability was of no use in front of him. At the same time, because Anilu is a frog at the bottom of the well, he has not gone out of the outside world, and he does not know that the natural devil fruit still has a nemesis. Although the traffic on the Sky Island is congested and not as prosperous as below, no one in the Sky Island knows the existence of domineering. Because the Sky Island exists in many places, for example, there are many empty islands in the New World, and even some of the Sky Islands are called the Island of the Gods like Anilu, and it is rumored that the power of that island may not be as strong as the 4 emperors. But the gap between the two is not so big. Even if the 4 emperors want to deal with those guys, it is not a simple matter. Even if you swallow it, you will suffer heavy casualties. Meantime, because that force has always been very low-key and has not gone down often, many people have forgotten about it. Anilu Yi Chen thought about subduing it, but thinking that this guy was unruly, and Yi Chen was too lazy to train this guy, so he was too lazy to accept it, so it was better to kill it directly. Lest you leave a bomb in the ranks. Let's go, Galio, let's go down there. The check-in reward is indicated, and Anilu is killed. There is no longer anything for Yi Chen to remember on the Sky Island. Beckoning Galio to leave, waiting for the next mission. Nodding his head, Yi Chen was looking forward to the rewards of the check-in task more and more. After all, the rewards given each time are extremely rich. Flowing blades like fire. Galio. Tricolor domineering. Either one is the ultimate reward. And after having the 3-color domineering this time, Yi Chen's strength has reached a higher level, and when he encounters the 3 major generals, he will not have no way to deal with them. Suigetsu Island. One of the more prosperous islands located on the Great Shipping Route. Due to its geographical location, ships often come here to replenish supplies, including navies, bounty hunters, and pirates. However, because the reserves here are good, the soldiers are strong, and they are famous in the first half of the Great Voyage. So there aren't many pirates making trouble here. But it's not for nothing. It's just that these troublesome pirates are basically dead. A few years ago, there was a pirate group with a bounty of more than 200 million to make trouble here, but the pirate group was wiped out. After this incident, the pirates who came over were also much more well-behaved. At the docks, a Navy warship slowly approached and finally stopped on the dock. On deck, there were 2 figures standing, both of whom were women. A man with a delicate face and a tall build, draped in a naval justice coat. The other is a tall, thin figure of an old woman with gray hair and a wrinkled face. She wears 2 bracelets on her right hand and green earrings on her ears. Her navy shawl is purple. The two are Admiral's replacement for Momoto Rabbit Gion and Vice Admiral Suru of the Navy's Wisdom and Civilization. The two are sisters. Peach Rabbit Gion looked around, looked at the pirate ships parked on the dock around him, and frowned. Blood Wolf pirates, Jack pirates, these guys are not good things, they have all done the slaughter of the inhabitants of an island. These guys can't be spared. The Blood Wolf pirates and the Jack pirates are famous on the Great Voyage because of their unscrupulous and vicious behavior, slaughtering and robbing them of their treasures wherever they go. Because of these things, the bounties of these two pirate groups are very high, and the captains start at 200 million. No bounty is less. In the first half of the Great Voyage, the pirates, who started with 200 million, were all famous pirates, and they could be regarded as standing at the top of the pirates in the first half. None of these people are powerful, at least among the pirates in the first half, they can be regarded as the top. The crane on the side looked at the flags of the pirates around him, and said calmly, "Let's do it, it's their misfortune to meet us." The strength of these two pirates is actually very good, but if they meet Momoto Gion and Suru, the strength of the two is not enough. Needless to say, the crane was once the pillar of the Navy, and the strength may not be as good as that of the Warring States carp, but it is still not to be underestimated, although it is now too old, but the strength of the body is far from being comparable to these pirates. Peach Rabbit Gion is a substitute for the general, the strength is naturally not said, and the people who can become the substitute for the general are all top players, extremely powerful, and are considered by the Navy to have the strength of the general. If there is no internal recognition of the strength of a general, it is impossible to become a substitute at all. The same, with the strength of Momoto Gion, these guys are far from being opponents. In general, not a level. With the approval of the crane, Momoto Gion immediately gave an order to the Navy on the warship. The Navy that can be on the two-person warship is naturally an elite, not an ordinary cargo. Having received the order, the Navy on the warship immediately went into action. The crane and the Peach Rabbit also walked down. In addition to the two pirates of Blood Wolf and Jack, there were several other pirates on the docks, and when they saw the Navy, they immediately ordered the crew to leave the docks. Most pirates are still afraid of the Navy. As for Jack and the Blood Wolf pirates, they were indifferent, as if they didn't see it, or they weren't afraid at all. The Navy soon rushed to the pirate ship. Looking at the empty pirate ship, the Navy was suddenly confused. "I don't have anyone here. I don't have anyone here either." They were dumbfounded, although the pirates would go down to resupply, but basically some people would be left to guard the pirate ship. And now they haven't even found a single one. That's weird, isn't it? Aren't you afraid that someone will snatch the contents away? Neither pirate ship found anyone. Several navies came over depressedly and said, "Vice Admiral Peach Rabbit, Vice Admiral Crane, the two pirates can't find anyone, they are empty." No one. Hear these words. Peach Rabbit and Crane were a little stunned. It's impossible. Even if you want to go down to replenish supplies, there should be some people left. The Crane groaned for a moment. "Go check and see if something is wrong. Generally speaking, the pirates will leave some people on the pirate ship to guard them. Unless there is nothing but things, there will be no one in the pirate ship." 5 minutes later, one of the Navy officers hurried over and said, "Lieutenant Admiral, I just got the news that the members of the Black Crow pirates are here, and they have clashed with the Blood Wolf and the Jack pirates, and all of them have passed." Peach Rabbit Gion's pupils shrank, and he said in a deep voice, "Is this news confirmed?" "Sure, the news has spread throughout the town." Suru said in a deep voice, "Gion, let's go over and see what's going on." Quote, "The Crow pirates. They are all strangers, because the Navy attaches great importance to them, especially Captain Yi Chen. The Black Crow pirates are right in the square. All of you. The captain has already spoken, no matter what the price, Yi Chen's head will be taken off. Ha ha ha, kill their brother." On the street where the pier leads to the central square, a group of pirates, armed with weapons in their hands, rushed with murderous intent and headed towards the end of the street. Everyone was dressed differently, of different ages, and even in different factions, but these pirates had one thing in common, and that was to go to the central square to support. In addition to this street, there are also these people in the place of Shuiyu Town. Looking at this group of pirates, the guards of Water Moon Town had ugly faces. For so many years, Few pirates dare to be presumptuous in Watermoon Town. It's just that these guards quickly received orders from above, so that they could not act rashly. At this time, Central Plaza, an entrance. Two burly pirates stood there with weapons in their hands, their eyes cold, staring at the figure in front of them with hideous expressions. And behind the two of them, there were many pirates standing, their expressions were similar to the two of them, they were all hideous, and their killing intent was revealed. If the eyes could kill, the figure in front of them would have died 1,000 times. And these two are none other than the captains of the Blood Wolf and the Jack Pirates. Both are pirates with bounties of more than 200 million. At this time, the entire central square has been cleared and has become a battlefield for both sides. The rest of the people hid in the surrounding buildings, looking through the windows at the two sides below. Even the guards of Watermoon Town are hiding. Then, in one room, one of the guards said dissatisfiedly, "Captain, why don't we go down and stop them?" He really couldn't understand that the captain, who had always been strong in the past, actually flinched in the face of these people. Is it necessary? Although there are quite a few pirates, so are their escorts. And pirates like this, they haven't dealt with them before. Hear this. The face of the captain with the national character face sank, and he immediately scolded. You know what? None of the people in the group below are simple, no matter which one we have to deal with, we need to pay a certain price. Now that the two sides are fighting, if we intervene, we are likely to become the target of the other side. Once we become the target of the other party, in the face of these people, even we can't get out of the whole body, and even the armor that may be killed will not be left. Now that the two sides are going to war, wouldn't it be good to let them eat dogs? When it's all over, we'll come out and make a move. The captain glared fiercely at the guard. What an idiot. Isn't it looking for death to shoot now? None of the people below are simple. Once these people get their hands on it, they may be swallowed at any time. Captain, you're a good plan. When they're done, we're cleaning up the mess, it's really the best thing to do. It's just that the strength of the two sides is not equal, there are only 2 people in the Black Crow Pirates, and there are hundreds of people on the opposite side, this battle is really going to take a long time. The difference in numbers is so great that I feel like the battle will be over soon. I feel that way too. Although they think that the captain's plan is good, if the people below are both defeated, and they come out to take over the endgame, it will be a big profit. But the strength of the two sides is not equal, and there is really a lose-lose situation. The captain of the national character face snorted coldly, looked through the window and looked at the 2 figures standing in the middle under the window, and said in a deep voice, "Why can't it? The people of the Black Crow Pirates are not simple, Galio, you should know, not long ago in Magic Valley Town, one person killed hundreds of pirates, and killed the pirates in Magic Valley Town to the cold. And Yi Chen, as the captain of the Black Crow Pirates, has a bounty of 500 million, and the bounty is more than Galio. Do you think this kind of person is an ordinary person? It must be that his strength has been recognized by the Navy, and he feels that he is a threat, so he will give such a high bounty, and my intuition tells me that this thin young man is extremely powerful, and he may even slaughter a group of people below." As soon as this remark came out, the crowd's eyes widened and they exclaimed, "This can't be possible, Captain." The 2 of them wanted to slaughter the next group of people. That's hundreds, at least 500 or 600. That's how possible. Why can't it be? Guozi said in a deep voice, "There are such monsters in this world, and there are many such monsters in the new world, and it is easy for one person to slaughter hundreds of people." Captain, you also said that it was the monsters in the new world, could it be that you think Yi Chen also has this ability? Of course, Guozi said with an extremely firm face, staring at Yi Chen below. Right now, Yi Chen suddenly raised his head and smiled slightly at the national character. In that moment, the captain of the national character face was covered in hair, as if he was threatened, and turned around suddenly, panting loudly, his face covered with cold sweat. What kind of monster is this? The captain of the national face whispered, his eyes full of fear. It was just a look, and he suddenly had a feeling of dying, as if he didn't turn around, he would die the next moment. This lethal feeling struck him as strange. Meanwhile, below, Yi Chen retracted his gaze, looked at the entrance of the street in front of him, looked at the Blood Wolf and Jack, and said lightly, "Are all the people called? Let's start when we call it all. It's all death anyway." Quote. As soon as this remark came out, the crowd was in an uproar. This Yi Chen is too arrogant. Could it be that he really thinks that he can deal with so many people? No matter how strong you are, you can't do it. Jack is a middle-aged man with a knife mark on his face. At this time, his face turned black, almost black as coal. Yi Chen, don't be too arrogant. The blood wolf's face was not unsightly, and at this time, a trace of hair appeared on his face, and his face also changed to the appearance of a wolf, and at the same time, his body was the same. In a moment, turning into a red-haired werewolf, I will pluck off your head with my own hands and use it as a flask to avenge my brother. Originally, Yi Chen and Galio planned to come here to resupply supplies, and happened to meet the younger brother of the blood wolf. His brother's bounty is not low, more than 100 million bounty pirates. After the blood wolf's younger brother saw Yi Chen, he probably felt that Yi Chen's head was valuable, and felt that he could kill Yi Chen, so he did something to Yi Chen. Then he was killed. After the death of the blood wolf brother, the people of the blood wolf pirates quickly sent people over, and at the same time, the people of the Jack pirates also participated. Subsequently, these people were also killed. In the end, there were a lot of people who died, which attracted the attention of Blood Wolf and Jack, and in order to deal with Yi Chen, the two sides joined forces and at the same time gathered their companions scattered in Shuiyu town. As a result, the entire central square has become a war, and the streets leading to the central square have a steady stream of pirates. See them call people. Yi Chen didn't bother to stop it. These guys are just trash fish. Although there are a lot of people, they are of no use. No matter how many people there are, what is the use of not being able to do it? In the face of normal people, there may be some use. Facing a powerhouse at Yi Chen's level, the number of people is not very important. Meantime, Yi Chen was just going to try his overlord domineering spirit. Time is lost at any time. The street intersection of the central square was crowded with pirates from both sides. It's overwhelmed. Surround Yi Chen and Galio together, and they can get out without a single gap. There are a total of 5 intersections in the central square. And in these 5 entrances, there are a lot of people, at least more than 100 at each entrance, and there are even hundreds of people. Overall, there are probably nearly 1,000 people. This is also the total number of pirate groups on both sides, and each pirate group has 500 or 600 people. At this time, one of the pirates approached and said, "Boss Blood Wolf, we're all here." On the other side, the people of the Jack pirates also said at the same time, "Boss Jack, our people are also here." Hear that? The Blood Wolf looked cold and saw Jack. "According to our previous agreement, as long as we kill these 2 people, we will divide their bounty equally." Good. This is an agreement between the two. As long as Yi Chen and Galio are killed, the bounty of the 2 will be divided equally. Although it is ridiculous that the pirate took the pirate's head and exchanged the bounty with the navy. But it's not unheard of that this kind of thing. After all, they can find a normal person to trade, or they can find some bounty hunters to trade. The main one gives enough benefits. Even the navy can do things for pirates. Colonel Rats in the East China Sea is the best example. So as long as they kill Yi Chen and Galio, they don't have to worry about redeeming bounties at all. Little guys, do it all for me, slaughter these 2 guys for me. As long as you can get these 2 guys' heads, you will be rewarded with 100 million Bailey. Do it. As the 2 of them shouted angrily. The huge square was boiling. Many pirates had fierce eyes and hideous faces. "Ha ha ha, that kid's head is mine. Kill them. That kid looks the weakest, kill him first. Yes, kill that kid first, and that Galio is doing it last." With the orders of the boss. Plus 100 million Baileys under the temptation. All the pirates let go. Nearly 1,000 pirates entered like locusts and swept towards Yi Chen and the others. "What about 1,000? I'm going to go." Yi Chen smiled lightly. His gaze froze. In that moment, a breath emanated from Yi Chen's body, and then the breath climbed day by day, becoming like a vast galaxy, heading in all directions. ZZ. Colorless fluctuations spread, like a huge protective shield enveloping the entire Shuiyu town, enveloping the whole together. In a flash, invisible fluctuations, terrifying spiritual shockwaves rushed out and swept across the entire island. In that moment, time seemed to stand still, falling into a moment of silence. Thump. The next moment, the pirates who were originally in a rage fell one after another like bone nomi cards. One after the other, fell to the ground, his eyes were white, and his mouth was foaming at the mouth. Except for Jack and the Blood Wolf. None of the rest were spared. Nearly 1,000 pirates fell to the ground. Bang la blah. There was silence all around. Blood Wolf and Jack, who were going to make a move, suddenly froze there. Their eyes widened. I really can't figure it out. Why? Moment. Everyone fell, and no one was spared, only the two of them. Cuckoo. The Blood Wolf swallowed in his throat, feeling his throat dry, and a hint of fear flashed in his eyes. What exactly is this ability? It was unexpectedly possible to defeat thousands of soldiers like a mountain, and all of them fell. It's just a matter of seconds. An army of thousands. They all collapsed and fell into a coma. Both of them have experienced a lot, but they are facing the scene in front of them. I'm dumbfounded. Tons. The atmosphere has become very eerie. The two froze there, like robots. Neither is the station, nor is the movement. What the hell is going on? The garbage is cleared, kill them Galio. Yi Chen said calmly. Good host. Galio smiled innocently, and then rushed straight over. A glow appeared all around, and a magic array loomed up. Jack, deal with this guy. The Blood Wolf came back to his senses and hurriedly shouted at Jack, who was still confused next to him. If they don't make a move, they will really be killed. Good. Jack came back to his senses and knew that the situation ahead was urgent. Hurriedly joined forces with the Blood Wolf and faced Galio. However, the attack of the two was tickling for Galio. Galio didn't bother to dodge, and just took it. Chang chang chang. The sword slashed across Galio, bursting with fireworks as if it were slashing at steel. Boom. Galio took the Blood Wolf by the throat with one hand. Hold it firmly. The Blood Wolf's neck exploded, its head separated, and its head fell to the ground. On the other side, Jack saw this scene, didn't think of anything, and ran outside. Right now, a sword aura swept out, instantly piercing Jack's body. Stomp. Accompanied by footsteps, Crane and Peach Rabbit Guion slowly walked in. Looking at the scene in front of him, the Crane frowned, and then his eyes fell on Yi Chen's body, flashing with light. Overlord color domineering. Look at the pirates lying on the ground. A glimmer of light flashed in the Crane's clear eyes. Yi Chen has a domineering color. She wasn't surprised. One even Carp has to be treated with caution. Even Carp has to admit that he is a genius demon of strength. It's not surprising to have an Overlord color domineering. Instead, if Yi Chen didn't have the domineering color of the Overlord, the Crane would be even more surprised. You must know that Carp gave Yi Chen a high evaluation. It is the highest evaluation that Crane has heard from Carp over the years. Yi Chen. I saw Yi Chen in the distance. Peach Rabbit pulled out the sword in his hand and stared at Yi Chen with a serious expression, his breath blooming. People from the outside world may not know Yi Chen's strength. But as a top brass of the Navy, Peach Rabbit has a lot of understanding of Yi Chen. This person's strength may be at the level of the three major generals. Far from what they can compete with. Plus, there are also strange creatures like Galio next to Yi Chen. It's really going to be a fight. They have no advantage at all. C2. Yi Chen raised his eyebrows slightly, a little surprised. He didn't expect to meet these two people in such a place. Yi Chen said, I didn't expect to meet you here, are you planning to arrest us? As soon as this remark came out, Peach Rabbit became even more nervous, his eyes were calm, and he didn't dare to relax at any time. I was afraid that Yi Chen and Galio would suddenly make a move. Then, Suru took a step forward. Keeping the Peach Rabbit outside, I saw her look at Yi Chen, and said lightly, according to the relationship between the Navy and the pirates, we really want to do something to you. It's just that I'm not sure if we're your opponents, so I don't have the plan for that yet. Replace yourself with other pirates. Suru is determined to do it. But Yi Chen was the only one who hesitated. The main thing is that it is impossible to confirm Yi Chen's strength. Carp had also said before that when Yi Chen fought him again, he obviously didn't go all out, and maybe even half of his strength. But even so, there was a tie with Carp, and the two were evenly matched, and no one could help anyone. It is enough to show Yi Chen's strength. the strength is likely to have reached the level of the 3 major generals. Although the strength of the 2 of them is very strong, even close to the level of a general in Peach Rabbit, but if they really fight, even Crane can't be sure if they can really catch Yi Chen. Or was it defeated by Yi Chen and them, and then killed? It's so strange that you don't even dare to do it. It seems that Carp's old fellow has brought you a lot of information since he went back. The Crane does not shoot. Yi Chen was indeed a little surprised. After all, the Crane and the Peach Rabbit are not weak, even the 3 generals feel like they can tie. But even so, Suru still chose not to make a move. This shows that the Crane has wisdom beyond ordinary people, or the information given by Carp may describe Yi Chen's strength very high. Since they don't make a move, Yi Chen didn't bother to do it. Meanwhile, in various buildings, the Peking's eyes widened. They couldn't believe that a navy of Lianhe's level chose not to make a move when facing Yi Chen. It's just so weird. Could it be that the navy has some secrets with Yi Chen? Or maybe Yi Chen's strength shocked the Crane. Whatever the reason, it is undoubtedly earth-shattering news. Sister, why don't you make a move? If we join forces, we may not be able to catch them. Crane's decision, Peach Rabbit, is a little incomprehensible. Even though Yi Chen's strength is strong, it can't be better than both of them. Don't underestimate these 2 guys. Even if we can deal with Yi Chen, we may not be able to deal with the guy next to him. That guy brings me a very strong oppressive force. Maybe his strength is weaker than Yi Chen, but the difference shouldn't be too big. If you really want to do it, the 2 of us are far from being opponents. Suru whispered. At the same time, he looked at Galio with a hint of jealousy. This strange creature, the strength is definitely very strong, and it is estimated that it is also a powerful combat power in the New World. Hear that? Peach Rabbit's pupils shrank, and he looked at Galio, when he saw Galio's honest face. Her mind was full of doubts. This guy doesn't look strong either. On the contrary, it looks a little honest, easy to see, and does not have any sense of danger. Since Lieutenant General Suru doesn't intend to attack us, we're too lazy to do it. Yi Chen beckoned Galio, then sat directly on his back and said to the Crane, I can also do you a great favor, you can just arrest these pirates. The matter was settled. Yi Chen didn't bother to stay here. Anyway, the things were bought. After all that is said, Galio's size grew, and then in front of everyone's eyes, he turned into a rainbow light and headed towards the sky. Watched Yi Chen and the others leave. Suru's eyes were deep, and he said softly, these 2 guys are terrible. If they enter the New World, they will probably change the pattern of the New World. I heard that Kaido is very interested in Galio, and if the 2 meet, it will probably cause some fight. Kaido is interested in Galio. It's no secret for a long time. Because a long time ago, Kaido ordered the people below to collect Yi Chen's traces. Just for Galio. People from these major forces know it. They also understand. The Crow Pirates and the Kaido Pirates, sooner or later, there will be a fight. It's just that basically everyone is not optimistic about the Crow Pirates. Except for the difference in numbers. The disparity in strength is also extremely huge. Kaido will not talk about it, known as the strongest creature in the sea, land and air, and he is invincible alone. And Yi Chen is just a person who has just gone to sea. There aren't many obvious results. Sister, then if you 2 meet, Yi Chen and they will be crushed. It's hard to say. Yi Chen is quite hidden, although he is a little younger, but it makes me feel that this guy is not simple, and he may not win, but Kaido's side may not be able to get benefits, and with the existence of Galio, Kaido and they may not be able to find Yi Chen. Meanwhile, above the sky, Yi Chen rested on Galio's back. Right now, a voice suddenly rang out. New check-in task released. Please go to the 18th area of the Chambord Islands, for a period of 1 month. This round of check-in tasks turned out to be the Chambord Islands. Kind of interesting. Hear a system tone. The corners of Yi Chen's mouth appeared in the arc of meaning. That's where it gets interesting. According to his current relationship with the Navy. If you go to the Chambord Islands, I don't know if the general will be dispatched. Although he didn't do anything hurtful. But there is no guarantee that the Navy will not make this decision. After all, he also received some rumors. The Navy values him very much, and even planned to send the Navy out. Although it was just a piece of grapevine. But it is not necessarily implausible. Come on, just use them to test my current strength. They killed quite a few people though. But none of these guys are strong. In addition to Carp and Anilu, they can also settle. The rest of the people are not counted. But if the admiral is dispatched, that's a different story. After all, no matter what the general, he is the man who stands at the top of the pirate world. It's a top combat power. Through their battles, he can see his strength more intuitively. Let's go, Galio. This time, we may meet incredible guys. Hear that? Galio, awesome fellow, is the master and admiral, or is it the four emperors? It could be a general. If it's a general, that's good. Hear that you may encounter a general. Galio suddenly became excited. During this time, Galio also has a general understanding of the world. The top combat power of the pirates is the four emperors. The top combat power of the navy is the admiral. These guys are people who stand on top of the world. After Yi Chen left, Suru and Peach Rabbit beckoned the navy to capture the Blood Wolf and the members of the Jack Pirates. Since these guys are all stunned, the navy was extremely easy to catch. At this time, on the cabin of a warship, Suru looked at the phone bug at the round table in front of him. The phone bug wears glasses and has a calm face. Looking at the phone bug, Suru said calmly, "It's me, Sengoku." "What's the matter, Suru? I just met Yi Chen." "Where? Did you fight each other?" "It's not far from the headquarters of the navy." Hearing that Suru had met Yi Chen and the others, Sengoku was suddenly a little excited, as if he had been waiting for a long time. The excited look is incomprehensible. "Water Moon Town, some distance from the navy headquarters, I can't come in a short time." "That's a pity, I was going to let a Kainu go out." In order to catch Yi Chen, Sengoku made a Kainu give up some tasks and be on standby. In order to catch Yi Chen. Although Yi Chen didn't do anything hurtful. But the terrifying natural strength of the swimming fish Yi Chen made the warring states feel that if Yi Chen was not arrested, it would be a scourge sooner or later in the future. Be prepared for danger in times of peace. We didn't fight those two guys, I let them go. Speaking of which, Crane's eyes were deep, and he said lightly, "Warring states, are we really going to do something to Yi Chen?" What he did not harm the world, nor did it harm the navy. On the contrary, he did a lot of good things, and the people he killed were also pirates, and the navy he killed at that time was also a scum. Overall, he's a little different from other pirates. Is it really good for the future of the navy that we do this to him? Hear this. Sengoku fell silent for a moment, and then said in a deep voice, "I understand what you mean. Yi Chen's actions are indeed not stained, but it is a fact that he killed the naval colonel. And you also know that. Carp has a great opinion of Yi Chen, and he even said that Yi Chen has reached his level, and you know what this represents." The crane shook and his pupils shrank. She knew that Carp had a high opinion of Yi Chen. "But I didn't know it was so high. We'll put Yi Chen on the same level as him." Crane still knows Carp's strength very well. After all, they have been together for decades, and Carp's strength is in the navy. Definitely the strongest one. If Yi Chen had Carp's strength at his age, it would be extremely terrifying. Suru took a deep breath. If Yi Chen had this kind of strength, she knew very well what it meant. "Crane, if Carp's prediction is true, Yi Chen's existence will threaten the world government and the navy, but the most important thing is to affect the balance. His appearance will change the pattern of the world, and once the current balance is changed, the impact will be so great that it is far from what we can imagine. And you also understand that Yi Chen is destined to be a pirate, although he has not done anything out of the ordinary now, but as a pirate, he will do something out of the ordinary sooner or later, not to mention that Yi Chen is too young. If he is allowed to let it go again, it is unthinkable in the future. And the 5 old stars have also issued an order, asking us to arrest Yi Chen as soon as possible, or kill him." Hear that? Suru said in a deep voice, "I see. The 5 old stars have all given orders, and this is not something they can control, although she doesn't need to understand why the 5 old stars gave this order. But once the 5 old stars gave the order, it meant that this matter could not be changed by any of them. Even the Marshal Sengoku did not use this qualification. After a long time, Suru said in a deep voice, "Warring states, I always feel that it will be the biggest mistake of the navy and even the world government to do something to Yi Chen, that guy gives me a very strange feeling. The more this is the case, the more we must take action to stifle the danger. And if it fails, hear this. Sengoku was speechless for a while. Oh, yes. What if it fails? Thanks for watching.